Whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it is time to pause and reflect. Mark Twain. In a world overwhelmed by information, where headlines flash across our screens faster than we can process them, the art of critical thinking is quietly disappearing. It's not that people don't have access to knowledge. In fact, we have more data at our fingertips than any generation in history. But access isn't the same as understanding. And understanding isn't the same as thinking. True thinking, the kind that asks questions, challenges assumptions, and resists easy answers, is becoming rare. We're not just losing critical thinking, we're replacing it with something far more dangerous, the illusion of understanding. As Stephen Hawking warned, the greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance, it is the illusion of knowledge. This illusion gives rise to what can only be described as collective stupidity, a state where people confidently adopt ideas without examination, fueled by trends, biases, and emotional comfort rather than evidence. We see it in the spread of misinformation, in political echo chambers, in conspiracy theories shared as truth. And while it's easy to blame social media or bad education, the deeper issue lies in our mindset. We are becoming intellectually passive, relying on others to do the thinking for us. Critical thinking isn't just a skill, it's a habit of mind. It means slowing down, asking why something is true, and considering alternate views even when they challenge our comfort. It requires us to separate facts from feelings, to resist tribal loyalty in favor of truth. But modern culture encourages the opposite. Emotional responses get more engagement. Clickbait thrives. Outrage sells. And so, we reward those who shout the loudest, not those who think the deepest. The disappearance of critical thinking starts early. In many schools, students are taught to memorize and regurgitate, not question and analyze. They learn what to think, not how to think. Teachers, under pressure to meet standardized test goals, often lack the time or freedom to nurture inquiry. The result? Generations conditioned to seek right answers, not better questions. And without questions, thinking dies. Social media accelerates this decay. Algorithms show us what we already agree with, reinforcing our beliefs and shielding us from opposing views. This creates echo chambers, comfortable bubbles where dissent is rare and agreement is constant. In such spaces, being part of the majority feels safe and questioning the majority feels risky. But as Mark Twain once said, whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it is time to pause and reflect. Yet few pause. Fewer reflect. Why? Because critical thinking is uncomfortable. It forces us to confront our own ignorance. It exposes the limits of our certainty. It demands mental effort in a world that prizes convenience. Most people prefer fast opinions to slow truths. And so we default to the group, conforming not because it's right, but because it's easy. This leads to the rise of collective stupidity, a phenomenon where groups of intelligent individuals abandon critical thought in favor of emotional, impulsive, or conformist decisions. In groups we feel safe, validated, even righteous. But groups are not immune to error. In fact, they often amplify it. Think of how mobs form, how rumors spread, how bad ideas gain traction simply because they're repeated loudly enough. Collective stupidity isn't about individual ignorance, it's about shared blind spots, unexamined assumptions, and the pressure to conform. The danger of losing critical thinking isn't abstract. It affects democracy, science, health, relationships, and justice. Without it, we fall for fake news, scapegoat minorities, mistrust experts, and elect demagogues. We become susceptible to manipulation, mistaking popularity for truth. We stop asking important questions like, what evidence supports this? Who benefits from this narrative? What am I missing? Instead, we scroll, like, share, and move on. But it doesn't have to be this way. Critical thinking can be revived, if we choose to value it again. It starts with humility, the courage to admit we might be wrong. It grows through curiosity, the hunger to explore ideas beyond our comfort zone. It thrives in conversation, not shouting matches but thoughtful dialogue with those we disagree with. It blossoms in education, when students are encouraged to ask why and how, not just memorize what. To reclaim critical thinking, we must create space for reflection in our fast-paced lives. We must reward nuance over noise, insight over instinct. We must teach our children, and remind ourselves, that asking questions is not a sign of doubt, but a sign of strength. Because only by thinking critically can we navigate the complexities of the modern world. Without it, we risk becoming a society that confuses feelings with facts, headlines with depth, and confidence with wisdom. In the end, the rise of collective stupidity is not inevitable. It's a choice, a collective one. We can continue down the path of intellectual laziness, or we can decide to think again. Not just for ourselves but for the health of our culture, our communities, and our future.